On the sidelines of Bilderberg 2018 in Turin, Italy, this is Josh Friedman behind the camera, joined by the one and only Rudkowski of We Are Change. Luke, how are you doing during this Bilderberg?
Yeah, you know, the usual, trying to deal with all the circumstances of being harassed and intimidated for trying to do the job here.
So very briefly, I don't want to focus on it,
Yeah.
but very briefly, what is some of the harassment you've experienced thus far, a day and a half into the conference?
Well, we can't go anywhere without getting stopped by the police, detained by them, interrogated by them. Right now, just a few minutes ago, was the most severe incident where we were detained for 30 minutes. Cops were asking us every single question, told us that they knew everything about us. We're saying, we were speaking in Italian and we're like, terrorist, and like pointing to us. And I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on here? They're like, don't use your phone. You may be blowing something up. It's for terrorism security reasons. What are you doing here?
You might be blowing something up with your phone?
Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? They're like, no filming, no videos. What'd you do here? We know everything about you. And as you know, the story that happened to you, it's a little bit concerning since all these other actions have happened before, even on graver extents. So it's not an easy task, but I'm always up for it, and I think it's a very important meeting that needs to be discussed and needs to be covered and needs to be documented as much as possible.
In terms of the actual conference, is there anything that stands out this year about 2018 Bilderberg and Turin, Italy?
Oh, definitely. The governor of Colorado is here. He's a Democrat that many people are pointing to the fact that he actually may run for president against Donald Trump in 2020. This, I guess, would be his kind of test trial, because as we know from other previous Bilderberg meetings and the reporting on it, even the New York Times reported that it was in Bilderberg where Henry Kissinger was hearing John Edwards speak, that this was the defining moment where John Edwards was selected to be the vice president for John Kerry during the 2004 elections. The Cardinal was here from the Vatican, which is also very interesting. Many people point to this Cardinal as being the next in line to be the Pope. Obviously, he's the Secretary of State. Other people are saying there's going to be a secret message from the Pope. We, of course, don't know that. That hasn't been verified. We're here on the ground trying to talk to all of them. But as we know, there's a legacy in history here of a lot of coincidences with many people pointing to Bilderberg as kind of the king masters, the Kingmakers, as we have seen Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, and other prominent politicians before becoming presidents and prime ministers attend this meeting. Obviously, all the connections to get you elected are inside, a lot of the big money. And most importantly, we're seeing another resurgence and another expansion of the technocratic establishment also be here, which should be worrying for everyone, since we're seeing a lot of DeepMind, Google executives here that work on artificial intelligence, a lot of biometrics companies as well. So that's something that definitely should be considered. All issues that we talk about and investigate and pose a very huge danger to the future freedom of humanity.
I would say that if Bilderberg proves to be a kingmaker for the Vatican, then that would be quite something, and maybe it would get some more attention on the conference.
Well, we have to understand there's a lot of power here. There's prime ministers, there's politicians, there's heads of security agencies, there's heads of media organizations in there, there's heads of big business. All of those play a very crucial role in politics and elections. We don't know what kind of pull they may or may not have with the Vatican. As we know, Henry Kissinger advises the Vatican, advises the Pope. That's been admitted before. That's one of his roles. So, you could always connect dots, but we also have to concentrate on, okay, these are the guys here. This is their agenda. Let's look out for the colluding that will happen afterwards and the deals that will happen afterwards, and not just always jump to conclusions.
A lot of people have been noting about this one name, the Secretary of State, who's a cardinal from the Vatican, being here. I just wanted to ask you one follow-up on that. It seems like there's, in a sense, a new regime with the current Pope in the Vatican. He's been signaling and speaking out about policy worldwide, very big advocate of many liberal
very
policies.
left-wing, very globalist.
Does this show that there's any sort of merger in agenda or a closening of relations between the Vatican and Bilderberg?
Well, obviously, a lot of different private institutions have a lot of different agendas that work out for their kind of bigger benefit. Mass migration works for the benefit of a lot of corporations that depend on slave labor, that depend on a lot of countries that want to divide countries, that depend on rising, and also helps rise the military-industrial complex, which also is represented here, since obviously more terrorism that happens, more of an excuse to build up the military and police budgets all over the world. So there are bigger agendas. We have to look at the bigger picture here. A lot of them are interconnected. A lot of them do work in their benefit, and they're trying to paint it as, oh no, we're just humanitarian, we really care about you. But ultimately, if you look at illegal mass migration, everyone loses. The migrant loses because he's forced into slave labor without any job protections, and he's forced to work for little to no money. The worker in that country is having a harder time to find jobs. Corporations and private businesses thrive, and of course the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. So that's kind of bigger perspective on one layer of it, and there's so many other layers that you could get into it later. But on the topics, it's never obviously going to be for the benefit of everyone, because if it was, they'll be gloating and talking about it. If they were doing anything positive in there, they would, of course, buy the best PR machines to promote that they were. But everything's secret, everything's off the record, everything is virtually impossible to find out what happened inside.
Regarding the conference itself, or at least how it appears from the outside, I'm curious to get your take on a comparison between Bilderberg in the US and Bilderberg in Europe. So you were in Chantilly last year, and I think you've been in Chantilly a few times now. How does Bilderberg compare when it's in the US to when it's in Europe?
Yeah.
Any obvious
differences? Last year was more lax. They weren't as secretive. They weren't as skirmish. We were able to get a whole bunch of conversations with Bilderberg members at the airport, because we were able to get a filming permit at the airport last year. And if you look at the videos last year, we got all of them. And they're kind of forced to talk when we're talking to them, because there's no excuse, not to, the way we approach it and the way we do it. Last year we had the head of Bilderberg Security, which again is a private intelligence contractor, come up to us being like, we know everything about you. You're dating this person, you're dating this person. Look, I know what your deal is. I know what you want to do here. This is my name. Let's work out something where you're happy and I'm happy, and we'll keep it lax. Also, another kind of angle to the whole security that they're trying to establish. Here, it's like terrorist. Like, we'll put you to jail when we want. Obviously, Italy and the United States have different laws, but...
Is this representative of how Bilderberg typically is in Europe, or does it change country to country significantly?
Well, it definitely changed in the United States. There was less harassment, there was less intimidation. Simply just like, all right, we're security. Like, we know everything about you. It's like it's all cool. Like, don't give me problems, I won't give you problems. And we're not here to give problems. We're here to do our work as journalists. We're here to ask the attendees what's going on. We're here to, just have photos and videos of it. Here, it's like, don't take any photos, don't take any videos. We'll arrest you, terrorist. It's like, what the hell? It's mind-boggling. It's not easy to deal with all the time, getting stopped. Just being like, all right, what's next? What is this crazy guy gonna think of next to try to stop me and from doing my job?
Okay, other than clearing the air that you're not a terrorist, any final comments?
You guys have to vote with your dollar. You guys have to vote with your clicks, vote with your attention. We're only here mainly because of you and your support. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't be able to be here. I wouldn't be able to do this reporting. So if you really like it and you want to see more of it, you have to help us out. Because if you don't, this media will die. And with the algorithm changes that Google, which is represented in here, Facebook, that was represented in here previously before, they're screwing out anyone who is not in the mainstream. We are getting screwed. Our numbers are lower than ever, even though our engagement is higher than ever. We're doing very important work, and we're getting screwed because of it. The only way to get unscrewed is if you guys take action, share this video, and help us out and be there with us.
Thanks a lot, Luke. Best of luck for the rest of the conference and the rest of your journey.
All right.